Hey, Mike here, producer behind ZERMELO. In this video, we're going to get a pack from Splice and make a track, from drop to break to mixing and mastering. This is a minimal deep tech style track, and here it is.
Okay.
So two quick things before we dive in. Number one, the beginning stages of this track are going to sound terrible. But of course, that's by design. I'm just throwing anything I like from the sample pack into the track, chopping it up until I feel like maybe I have something cool, and then I clean things up. So the takeaways for your music are going to be the creative skills for getting an idea going and the technical skills like mixing and music theory, where you make everything work together. Number two, I got a little bit into the flow state when I was mixing, so I kind of just shut up for a while and mix the track. So while this video will cover the drop and the break, I posted an unlisted video here on YouTube covering the quick mixing and mastering. Link is in the description. I've also dropped the timestamps for both videos so you can hop to whatever's interesting or come back and watch something specific. Let's go.
Okay, so I want to make something in the next hour and a half. I've already gone over to Splice, and I was kind of going through these, excited about the new Tool Room Tracks one. I'm going to go with this one, though, right here, because it has more vocals. So I'm going to approach this as if I was working someone who was brand new to making productions. How would they get something going right away? The key is, like, you got to just pick things based off of what you like. Plugin Splice Bridge. Drop this mofo. So first thing we're going to do is I'm going to start going through drum loops and vocals. So here's some drums. So every now and then I got to check on Zoom just in case someone wants to join the co-working session and be a dedicated producer. Maybe I'll start with grooves. Just get something rolling. I like that. Let's get it. Copy. Let's go back over here. Boom. Paste that. So, see, I'm gonna. What's the BPM here? It's 130. So we're gonna put 130, and there we go. I like that one too. So I'm gonna grab that. I'm just gonna get a couple just for. To get some vibes, see which one works with, so what's this one? This one's 130 also, okay. I don't know, I liked it, so let's just get it and see what happens. We can always splice it up with like shakers and rides and stuff, so. Okay, so we got a couple grooves here. Let's go find some vocals. Let's start auditioning them against the groove.
No time to talk, just feel the beat. No time to talk, just feel the beat.
Feel the beat, like beat, 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 beat. Feel the beat.
Those two could work together. Maybe. So I'm going to get both of them. Copy. Let's go. Chop it on. We'll get this guy too. Okay. Let's just mute these guys and keep going here.
I glow, glow.
Dance, dance with me, dance.
I glow, 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 glow.
Feel, feel, dance, feel.
I really like that. That's cool. Yeah, that one was cool. Let's copy to clipboard. I'm gonna put this kind of at the top. I just really like that. I really like that as a percussion. So I'm not even going to use references. I'm just going to make something random to see what happens. So immediately I want to kind of mess around with this. This is the first move I'm making here. So this little guy. So if we go to envelopes here, let's go to clip gain. So this thing right here, this is cool. Cool, something like that, and then I'll just go like this. Okay, so far I'm liking this beat the best, so I'm gonna start coloring the things that I think are cool. Okay, what else?
That's slang.
Flow, something. Okay. On the floor.
We could do like a Shiba-san payoff. I think that'd be a cool idea. Let's see. Copy the clipboard. New. Start labeling things. Payoff. So I'll put it over here. Boom. Like this.
Okay.
One thing I'm definitely going to do right away, I would tell someone to get that freaking beat up there. So let's get a monitor.
Okay.
Cool, and let's just get a limiter. And just going to go like this. Boom, boom. And then let's just gain the sub.
Okay.
Okay, so we got a groove. Is there? I think what I need is I need to kind of pick one of these vocals first. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's What if I did these like... Cool. What if we made these shorter? So I'm gonna go to forward transient. Let's just do 8th. Bring this down. What if I did that to this guy too? Just tighten him up a little bit. Just get 16th maybe. I think that's it. So now I'm just finding like something that just gets the juices flowing. Go for a hook now, like a synth hook. I wonder, like, sometimes as a producer, you just try to get something to work. Let's see if we like do the same kind of chopping on this, if we can get it to work. Just kind of stutter it a little bit. Same thing. Rather than the transient mode, let's just go to 16ths. Let's try like. Wonder if we can kind of get this to pop a little bit more. So I'm just gonna get an EQ. And this is still under the guise of like, if a beginner was going to do this, like, it's just kind of throwing things at the wall, right? Like, this is just pure chaos and idea stage. Okay, let's go in context here. All right, cool. Let's see. There's something really cool about that. That could be as sick as like a background texture thing. Come on, hurry up. Okay, go way down. Let's throw some like reverb on it. Maybe even delay. Let's get some delay in there too. Delay. Boom. Start with a delay. Get the right kind of timing here. Okay, let's start getting some kickstart on here. So, I guess we kickstart after here. Another thing I'm going to do is just create a ghost kick. So, I get the groove here, create a new track. Just going to get this little kick. I'll just get the front of the kick like that. We'll go like this. And then we'll just duplicate this across. Okay, let's just consolidate it. All right. So this is ghost. I'm just going to color that color of ghosts, which is usually white, at least in fictitious stories that are told. And make sure it's not playing, for crying out loud. Okay, so let's get this guy. Let's do the input as the ghost. And so what I'm going to start doing is start mapping this stuff out. See, so now that like something's kind of coming together, even though it's pretty shitty right now, to start mapping things out. So let's go here, duplicate, and then we'll just get like a, what's this? Let's combine this, duplicate. I'm gonna give myself a little bit more room here. Cool. So here will be, this will be break, this will be drop. A, B, drop, B. Cool. And so there we go. Getting a little bit of a very sophisticated arrangement map. And what I'll do is I'll just extend this for, oh wait, yeah, we just want to work in 8 bars right now, so cool. And then we already have a break idea, potentially. Got this little break atmosphere. So we'll put that there for now as a placeholder. And then on this one, I'm just going to write B lift. So what we can do is we can kind of go into this atmospheric kind of thing. And then B lift is going to be where we lift this in the B section. Because I'll have it kind of atmospheric here. We'll go dry for this guy. And then, so maybe we'll try like a dry groove. Just kind of labeling the idea. And then drum B would be like break atmos. Who knows? Who freaking knows? Okay, but let's keep playing. And I'm not paying attention to key whatsoever right now. I'm just fucking around. Okay, so let's see what else we got. That kind of changes the vibe too, but in a way that I kind of like. And I definitely want to see if that could work as in the break. Again, I'm not going to worry about key right now. I could just always change that later. Just want to get the big pieces in place. So let's do this. And one thing that I do want to pay attention to is this is a syncopated element, right? Syncopated, what I mean is that, well, syncopation just by definition is where something accents a non-regular part of the rhythm. But I have these two things now. So if you remember, I have that vocal syncopation. So this guy plays on that syncopated note. So this is a much faster, plays on that second 16th note. This is kind of the traditional 16th note and then offbeat. But let's see if these guys work together. So if I kind of, that's cool. That's sick. That is sick. Okay. Okay, so it's starting to get a little bit busy. So it's getting a little busy, getting a little crowded. But that's okay. This is mostly about working down from this. I'd rather have way too much than too little and try to force something to happen. But let's just keep rolling here. That's cool. A cool transition. Just want to see which one sounds, which is the best part. Cool. Let's get like a delay on that. It'll get there. Yeah, this is a freaking mess right now, but let's keep it. What if we got like this guy right here? Just doing the same thing. So this is kind of like a call response. It's just like punks, I'll call them. Punks are like little things that happen at the 4, the 8, the 2, the 6 in the bar. Just accent little structural moments. Give little hits of dopamine throughout the track. Okay, cool. So now let's go over to bass. So we can write the freaking bass line. I don't even have bass line. So I'm really just looking for something that just fits now in the context of everything. Just the like the sound of it, you know? Like this one's nice because it's nice and subby because there's so much crap on top now that like I'm kind of inclined to go for something a little bit more subby. But even that pattern, that's badass. So this is C sharp minor. Whoa, we gotta watch out for that. That's either too high or too low. Okay, cool. We've got enough. So if we look at what we have here, we've got a groove that is just like, you know, I've just literally chucked in a loop that has a full kick and all that stuff. So we could spice up the drums or chop it up, but for now that sounds good. So we got the drums, we've got the bass now. We got a vocal idea, and we've got a bunch of sound design ideas. And all right, well, you know, let's just look for a couple more, and then we can start kind of putting this together. Okay, let's see. Oh, that sounds. That's really nice too. That's an F, it says. That makes me happier, but again, I do not trust this. But I'm just gonna look for sounds. I want to create like a, you know, you'd almost think this is like building a world at this stage. We're just trying to look for little characters and that just all kind of maybe work together. But as a producer, we have to make it work. So just creating a vibe. Okay, so far I like bass 1 better. Put a little asterisk next to it. Let's see what else we got. Let's go. Now that's a really nice sound. So maybe I can kind of like hocket these basses. And hocketing is where you have one melody, but it's shared by different sounds. So, or this could come in as like a bass accent. So I'll do bass accent, maybe. Let's have color. So that's kind of cool because this will add in like a little rhythmic element to the bass. So, for example, if I go with something like this guy's just very smooth. But what I can do is I could just put in these little kind of rhythmic flourishes. Okay, cool. What else? So right away, like, you can already hear where that can happen. You know, watch this. So right here, right? It's just like, here we'll just give them the pattern, and here we'll give a little bit of a flourish, a little bit of a flourishment. Boom, bum, 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 and that's cool. Let's see if that kind of pattern can repeat over time. Yep, we'll just go like this. So it looks like the pattern's going to be 2 bars. and then we'll just repeat it. Yeah, let's get rid of this. Kind of like this. Yeah, we'll do something like that. A little bit call responsey. So. Okay, cool. So not too many other bass sounds in there that are gonna. You can hear how this is gonna sound pretty cool. Watch. So maybe something like this. So this is, if we look at the motif that we have here, here's the piano and the Vox perk. Can we accent that anywhere? So I think it's like these guys. So here we go. Something like that. Again, I don't care about the key of the track right now. I just want to get the idea going, and then I'll move things around. So just making sure things don't get too busy. Okay, let's start making things happen like this. Kind of like this little piece right here too. Maybe take this out. So if I mute the vocals right now, if I map this out for you, you can kind of see what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to, what I call is just create a pattern here. So if I map this out, I'll just put a MIDI clip for every time something new happens. So I'm going to stay on 16th notes, but we'll see. So first we start out with bass. Right. And then something happens here. So we'll put something there, right? And then boom, we get something happening here on the bass. And then we get this sound again. So this right here, this is the piano and the vocal perk. And then we get a new sound up there, right? And that resets the loop. And then we get a new sound right here, right? And so you can see what I'm doing, right? This is like punks for the most part, because the cool things happen here. Like that little sound, this little sound, everything else is just kind of like creating this little pattern, but these little moments just pop out a little bit. And these are punks. So again, punks are just structural moments, especially where you accent like the P8 or like the 8-bar mark, the 4-bar mark, the 2-bar mark. So this is a 2-bar mark. This is a 4-bar mark. And you can hear that the hierarchy built into punks, like where the 8 is the most important, 4 is next most important, 2 and 6 would be the least important there. But beyond that, you're just getting on a bar by bar basis. But that's kind of what I'm doing here. But I'm just making sure I've got this organization right, like the hierarchy is right. And so I know this would work. I just need to kind of get it to work a little bit better through mixing, through a little bit of music theory. And now that this sound is playing underneath it and is evolving, this now turns into an 8-bar loop. And so I can totally repeat this pattern here for the next 8 bars, and it would be totally fine because now I have this kind of evolving thing under there, so it'll allow the 8 bars to continue. Okay, so I love that. We're gonna just duplicate that. Before we duplicate it, let's actually start kind of working this out. So here we have the groove. Okay, so our bass line, let's actually work this out. This is gonna be the worst part of this, but so let's solo this so we're not gonna annoy people, although they're probably already annoyed. So this is an A. So boom, ba-dum, bum, A, B. So bass line goes A, B. D sharp. Okay. And somehow this is supposed to be C sharp. What key is the piano? F minor. Is it though? Is it? Let's see. So we'll just go like this. Okay, so let's come over here. So we have C, D sharp, G. So this is a C sharp minor, and then A sharp. So this is a C. I'm not C sharp. This is just a straight up C minor 7th. Okay, so we got C minor 7th. We have a bass line that could be an A minor. Okay, so what I want to do is take this guy right here and let's try popping him up to E. So that's going to be 1 semitone up. Make sure we're on complex. So this will now be A, B, E, which is going to be 1, 2, 5 in A minor. I can also try going down 1 semitone to D, so it should be 1, 2, 4 in A minor. And you can hear that's a little bit more palatable because it's not jumping way up to the 5. See, it strains a little bit more. This is way simpler. So again, if I'm right now, if it's 0 semitones, I'm on D sharp. But if I go up to 1, I'm on E, which is A, B, E. That's 1, 2, 5 in A minor. If I go back down to D sharp and then go back down to D, that's 1, 2, 4 in A minor. So that sounds a lot better to me. So if we stick here in A minor, what to do about this guy? So this is C. Let's see. You know, like in a house music kind of way, it could work because a lot of times in house music, like C is the minor 3rd note in A minor. And when you play house music chords, a lot of times you're just sticking to like a constant structure. What that means is like you're not actually playing diatonic chords, which is not a helpful clarification whatsoever. It probably confuses even more. But, you know, you're not actually, you're like, if you're playing a minor chord, no matter where you move that chord, you're going to stay playing a minor chord. So this could work in a house context. If I play a C minor over an A minor. It works in house music, like, because it's something that we're familiar with. Okay, cool. Well, what about these now? These accent notes aren't really as important, but I'm going to get them right anyway. So this is E minor. Again, not going to believe that for a second. So here we have F sharp. Here we have F sharp. That makes it easy. It's F sharp, E. Okay. So we now know those notes. Just kind of label them, I guess. This will be F sharp. This will be F sharp. This will be E. And maybe we'll come up here. Okay, so F sharp, E. Here we have A, B, D. Here we have A, B, we have D. So this is an E, so what we can do is just have this go down to D. So let's go on to complex here, go down to D. Make sure these guys are on complex as well. So F sharp. F sharp over B works because F sharp's the fifth of B. So maybe we can almost create like a harmony for these guys. So we're going, so this will now be, this is now D. We'll leave F sharp there, and this will be E. So E is the fifth of A. F sharp is the fifth of B. So we got like a little fifth harmony here, and then they come together there. And so let's see if this works. Who knows? But one thing I do know is I'm going to take out the top end. We're harmonizing bass, which is ridiculous. But whatever. Let's just see how it sounds. I'm just going to cut this guy hard at like 120. Okay, together. I'm going to can also line these up a little bit better here. But all right, getting super into the minutia now. The YouTube graph has plummeted. So this guy is going to be D2, so we got to go down to -2 on this. Just unwarp these. Just don't need to warp them. Cool. And then same with this, let's just unwarp. Do a little bit of a fade out here. Cool. Just to make sure there's no clicks. And here too, although that shouldn't be a problem. Warp this down to 2. Just Okay, let's see what this guy is. So A sharp, that's cool. So that's gonna make it easy. We could just pop it down to one thing here, one semitone. That's what I'm trying to say. So we'll just go down. I'm gonna turn off warp, and then let's go over here, turn off warp. And cool. Think we need to worry about any clicks on these guys, but might as well just do a little bit of a fade out, Okay, cool. So this is now, these are both A. Okay. Okay, and then over here we've got the pattern repeated. So we can probably just duplicate, but we do have one more note to deal with down here. What is this guy? Looks like it's an A. And I just mean that because it looks like that, but let's see. Yep. Cool. So I'm going to just copy this over to here, and then I'm going to copy this over to here. Awesome. Okay, I think that covers the bass and the piano, the main thing. Okay, same with this. I'm just going to hard cut. Let's just copy this over. But we can bring out some more of the top on this guy. It's got a nice kind of square sound. Okay, so piano, I think we can keep it. Let's see how it works with, what's this guy? Does this have a key? Not really. So we'll just leave him be. I mean, what about a little stab here? So this is D minor. Is it though? Right. All right, let's go to spectrum. Wow. Okay. So we can just kind of hum this. So I'm going to go get Serum real quick. Well, it definitely has the A and the D in there. So let's move this to C. Let's move this down to C minor. So minus 2 semitones. And see if that works with the piano here. Okay, let's just solo this. I'm gonna group the groove elements. So we'll just call this groove group. So there we go. And just before we forget, let's just copy this over here. And I color it white if I change it, you know. So one thing is that we need to get a little bit cleaner here. Go like that. And like this. And probably like this. Boy. What the fuck? Oh, you know what? It's probably the start of the clip. Like that. So we'll just go like that. There we go. And so you can see I'm just fading in, so I'm not really affecting too much of that original signal or initial signal, but I'm just preventing any clips from happening right there. And then if we listen back, no clickies. So I'm going to Command J this, and we'll just label this bass A, B, D. And then just loop it. Go. Cool. And then we'll solo this. Cool. I wonder if I can take this guy and put him here just to get. Yeah, that's cool. I like that. It just gets a little bit more of that accent in there. So I guess what we can do is start consolidating, just so I know for sure that. So this is just bass A. Well, and then I guess we'll commit this as well. So Command J, and I forgot the notes of this, but I know they're okay. So we'll just go like this. All right, cool. So now that that's all done, I'm just going to recolor. There's already a bunch of sidechain on here, so I'm just feeling a little bit nervous. I'm just going to group these guys, and we'll just call this bass group. And then what I'll do is on here, just put kickstart. And there. Just go to the ghost. Now, this would probably totally work on sync mode, because there's not too much latency on those plugins because of the EQ. The EQ is oversampled, but just to be 100% safe, I'm just going to do the audio sync, and I'm going to just use the audio trigger from the kick. I have to remember that that's not actually the full kick though, but we're good. Okay, so a little bit of peace of mind there. Cool. All right, cool. And then we have this little punk guy. Let's see what note he is. Let's get a spectrum analyzer. D. Okay, so he goes D. And then this one goes down, I know. So the movement is D sharp down to C. Now that actually works with our chords, because our chords are in C minor. Let's see. That does work. That works totally. I think so. Put a little bit of reverb on it. So size is really cool because it just starts to give it this metallic quality. So if you ever want to bring something out in a sound or with a reverb with Abletons, just start bringing the size down. I love the way that sounds. Okay, that's cool. Probably a little bit high on the dry wet though. Now we can get OTT because OTT, oh shit. Let's go here. There we go. And what I want to do is I'm going to crank the output on the top end here because I just want to bring out those highs. This is a very lazy way to do it, but whatever. So I'm going to try to bring out even more air up there. Maybe we can also put like a redux or a bit crusher on there just to get some extra kind of airiness. There he is. And cool. And I'm going to put it after the reverb so that the downsampling or the bit crushing, wherever we decide, just like sits on top of the reverb. It's all about finding that perfect ring. I'm going to increase the jitter just to get some extra weirdness. Stop it. You hear the noise that's brought in there. Maybe we'll bring the dry wet down a little bit. 70% sounds good because now we get that air without it. Although that's pretty cool too. Like, maybe we'll bring it down a little bit more. Let's try 50. I'm gonna work up from the bottom. Sometimes it's cool to work down from the top, see where you land, and work up from the bottom, see where you land. Another thing we could do is group this. Now I'm getting too granular. And put 100%. Get a EQ. I want the redux to trigger on the whole sound, but I only want that air. So I'm going to just cut out everything else. Let's see if I solo this. That stuff, right? Because I like this sound. And I felt like the attack was getting taken away from it, if that makes sense. And so we'll do like redux. And this is going to be dry. Put redux below. And so now we'll just mix that in. Okay, I want to put a delay on there too. So you got to hear delay in your head. Like, what do you want it to do? And I hear it going bum 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 bum, and so that is quarter notes. Bum 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 bum. Right, that's playing with the kick. So bum. Okay, but we got to group this now because I hear another idea. See, now I'm getting just down the frickin' weeds. This is going to be dry. This is going to be delay, but I want that delay to just be weird. So I'm going to get a utility plugin Cool. So when we have a chain like this, we obviously have to go 100% wet. But what I want to do is I want to just start panning around that weird delay. So I'm going to go get a LFO here, and we'll drop it onto delay. And that's why I wanted to save it, because Ableton was being a little bit weird before with the Max for Live devices. Just get straight, it's just like random. So I'm going to bring down the depth a little bit on this. The rate looks okay. And then we'll just map it to the pan here. And there we go. Okay, you can hear the top end in there, so I'm going to just start taking a little bit of the top end out of that delay. I'm just bringing the channel volume down here, the chain volume down. Bring a little bit more width in, a little bit of top in. I'm gonna just bring this all up actually, because I want to let a little bit more top in. I want to take a little bit more lows out. Actually, if I want to do this the right way, the smart way, I'll just get an EQ. That's the advantage of working with chains, is that I can process the effects separately, independently. And so I could just be really meticulous about what I want. So maybe we'll just do this. Okay, cool. I like it. So this little guy, this is going to be like DJ Scratch. Let's just make this an effect. So effect, DJ Scratch. Cool. There we go. And we'll just bring this guy on down to the bottom. And we can get rid of Serum. A little bit loud. But this is a punk at the 4-bar mark. So we'll drop this like -3. Let's see. Let's get a feel. Okay, so we don't need all that. We just need the scratchy part. So I'm just going to hard cut. Just disrespect it here. Maybe bring this down a little bit. Cool. Maybe we'll give a little bit of boost on the good stuff. So I'm just going to kind of find where that is. Give myself a little less context. Here we go. Cool, there it is. All right, sick. So here we go. Let's check it out. Okay, we need to do a little bit more moment engineering. That's definitely what needs to happen. But for now, this is a solid start. Let's bring in the vocal. So here's the offbeat one. So what is this guy playing? So again, just looking at all the the notes of this, just trying to get everything to lock in, which is kind of a pain, you know? Like when you're going through sample packs, you're trying to bring in vibes. Like that's the pain of kind of working with the sample packs. You got to make sure that it all kind of like locks in musically.
Beat, 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 beat.
I mean, you got B, C sharp, and so those are just not even really related. So what I can do is I'm just going to create a MIDI clip channel down here and drop this in here like that. And so then we'll go like this. And then I'll just draw an offbeat. So we'll just go to C3. Oh, go ahead, and it is looped. So I'll just this out. And what I can do is I can just pitch that guy around a little bit. I could have done this in the audio, but I want to do it in the MIDI. MIDI's a little bit cleaner for doing this because it will just automatically stretch or compress the sample. So if I come over to the MIDI and I come over to controls, I need to turn on the pitch envelope. Let's bring the decay all the way down. I don't know how much we need to pitch around, but I'm going to start with 3 semitones. But now the sustain right here is a continuous pitch from 0 to +3 and 0 to -3. And so watch, if I just solo this.
Beat, 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 beat.
See? So now I can just try to find the right pocket for that sound. So I'm going to crank it up in volume.
Beat, 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 beat.
That sounds pretty close, but let's see.
Beat, 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 beat,
You're just waiting for it to lock in. You know, that's what you're really waiting for. And that kind of locks in for me. And now, advantage of this is that I also have, well, if you do one shot or classic mode, but if I go to classic mode, kind of tighten it a little bit. I can also do that in one shot, but turn off snap. Let's see if I go to one shot and use the fade outs here. Okay, here's something we can do is I can spice up that rhythm a little bit. And check this out. Just got to look for a gap, right? Where's any kind of gap? I don't want it to happen too early because it'll feel busy, so I'm kind of looking more towards over here. So I'm right around here. I feel like we could do something. So I'm going to consolidate these 4 bars. So right here is where I'm thinking. So let's go like this. How's that sound? That's cool. So one thing that's kind of cool about that is that little difference starts to set up the different things that happen over here. And then another thing we can play with is I keep hearing this like tight delay on here. Let's keep it simple. And so I'm going to go down to here. Let's go to fade. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. What I want to do is I want to macro the delay here, the delay time, and the mix. So when I bring up the mix, it will also start to bring up the delay time here. But so then I need to get the mapping right on this. So if I have this, so let's get max value on this. So I need to bring that down. So when I get to the highest value that I want on the dry wet, what is going to be the delay time? So that's what I'm going to set over here. So okay, cool. So that could be some fun automation that we do. So where can that happen? That can happen towards the end of the 4 bars and then more dramatically at the end of 8 bars. So I can just kind of bring this up a little bit. Maybe I can even pop it up here to just make that little hit even more different. Then just kind of bring this back down. And what I'll do is I'm just going to just kind of settles down. So what does that sound like? Okay, this guy can come up a little bit more, bring this down a little bit. Maybe go a little bit higher. And what we could do is, like, I'm hitting it at the end for no reason. It's dumb. Might as well hit it right there. Okay, cool. Let's duplicate this over and just make it more dramatic here. So just go a little bit higher. Maybe we'll start it a little bit earlier in this case, like back here. I'm going to bring this down a little bit earlier. Okay, when that little DJ scratch hits, I want to take out the kick. So the trouble is that obviously we have one groove, so I'm going to get an EQ and just high pass it. Also, I'll start setting up the little high pass. So I'm just going to go right to 120 as a starting point. And let's go ahead and show automation. Turn this off and turn it on right there. Okay, let's get a double kick in there if I can. I'm sure I can. So double kick will be relatively easy. Just gonna bring this guy down. So let's bring this down here like that. And there is a little bit of a shaker right here you can see in the waveform right there. But I think it will be okay. So, yep, that's cool. So kick, dub, even though that's not spelled correctly. But there we go. So you can see I'm just building up these moments. Like right here, there's a lot of stuff that happens kind of as we approach the 4 bar, right? So we're starting to get that kind of like that double hit here, right? That's starting to trigger this moment here. This is starting to work towards it through the delay. We have this synth punk hitting there. We also have the DJ scratch hitting here. And then post, we have the double kick. And so one thing we don't really have is something accenting that. So we have this, like, you could think of effects a lot of times or moments in terms of like before, during, after. And so here's like the before stuff working up to the moment. We don't really hit anything on the moment, but after we get that little double kick. And so this guy right here, I want to hit that reverb harder, like, because it's gonna similarly trigger events happening a little bit further down the line, you know. So if I hit this like 60%, it's going to make the dry signal go away a little bit, which is a little bit annoying. That's why working in chains can be nice. But if I just hit this a little bit harder. See, I want something else to happen around here. So I'm not sure what that is yet. Maybe it has to do with the vocal. Let's see. So if I bring in this guy, so we've been ignoring the main vocal here, but you can see right here, something happens with this vocal. So maybe I can kind of work that in. So maybe I could do something like this. So the piano hits right here. So if I just make sure that that piano is clean, not a big deal at all. There wasn't even a vocal there. But so, okay, cool. I think, 80% rule, right? When you get 80% of the way, just move on. So I'm going to duplicate that. And again, we're here on the A section. I wrote dry groove. Not at all. Okay, so it's the Picasso quote. I come up with something and then it becomes something else. Okay, so we got to get some effects in here, right? We got to accent these moments. But this is cool as an A section. What's going on with this sound? So let me get this out of here. And then one idea I had for the B section was to get this kind of lift here, this whistle sound. So that was an idea. And so let's see if that works. Of course, we got to see what these notes are. And so if we go to Spectrum. So this is a G. We're an A. So G, A, F. So that could work in a lot of different things. It could work in G because you're going 1, 2, 7. So G up to A is 2. 2 is the second note in the scale of G, G minor and G major. And then going down to 7, though, when you go down an F, so this is definitely G minor because F is only in the scale of G minor, not G major. F sharp would be in the scale of G major, but... Ooh, that's an interesting note. D sharp. So that's going down to the minor 6th of G. Okay. Interesting. Now, of course, we can chop this up however we want, and we might do that. Okay, so I don't like that last note, so I'm just going to change it. So I just like that. Bum, bum, bum. So I'm just going to duplicate this. See what happens. There we go. Oh, and then we can move it down at the end, right? So again, always thinking about the kind of moments. That would be at the 4-bar mark, right? So let me just color this white because it's different. Okay, we got to change the key, right? So we're in A. So if this can work in, so can this work in G in C minor? So G is in C minor. A is not in C minor. A is in C Dorian. F is in C minor. D sharp is in C minor. I mean, if we could play it in Dorian, it kind of just works with G because G immediately works with C. And so that just immediately lands C. Okay, I think this works. Like, we're just going up to the A in C minor, which is, in C minor, you actually have an A flat. So if we look the scale of C minor, you'll see that we have C, D, E flat, F, G, A flat, but in our melody here, it's playing an A. But if I go to C Dorian, C, D, E flat, G, A. So the only difference between C Dorian, which is just a minor mode and it has an interesting kind of sound, and C minor, C Dorian to C minor, is just that in C minor you have A flat, in C Dorian you have A. And so the A sounds cool, man. It sounds cool, right? And it works. Like, it's not like that doesn't work. I could totally have this, the Dorian note in there. It's not like it's wrong, but since I know that that's the Dorian note, I can now try, well, what if I tried the A flat instead? And then I can make a creative decision. And my creative decision right now is to stick with the Dorian note. I just like it. It sounds cool. The next thing I want to do is see if I can change this note right here. So and this totally works because we're stepping down to, if we look, this note is it should be D sharp. See, D sharp right there. So D sharp is the minor third of C minor, right? C minor right here we have, well, technically it's E flat, but E flat and D sharp are the same thing. And so these notes right here work perfectly with the C minor chords that we have. And so I'm going to keep this like that. So that way we get a call response here in the higher melody. And that's a 4-bar call response, which makes it so easy to just go boop and duplicate it. All right. And maybe I could do something down here, but what I can do instead is just do something more exciting with the other sounds in the mix. And then that'll just allow the melody to kind of reset over here. And so let's get a feel for this A section, B section. And so I'm going to rename what we're doing up here. So this is going to be like drop A, and this is going to be drop B. And yeah, break Atmos, but I'll just call it whistle. And this for now is just going to be no whistle. So let's see. So this guy right here now, we can kind of get the pitch of this, but this is sounding pretty cool. I think what I'm gonna have to do in the beginning of this video is just say, like, through when I start making this thing, it's going to sound terrible. And so probably the biggest value is going to be just seeing how to get things to work together, right? To put the producer hat on and make things work. But let's see what this is. So this is playing an F. So if we're in C up top, right? Like, this is really ridiculous that we're at C up top and A minor in the bottom. It's working though. And it's fine because like the sub is so low. And like I was kind of saying earlier, it's kind of like a cop out where I'm saying that A minor and C minor work together in the context of house music, because a lot of times if you're playing chords, you'll just jump around in minor chords, but it works. It works. I'm not too concerned about it. But this is an F. And what we want to do is, since we're up in G up top, I'm going to just change this to G. So if we play this. All right, so playing this. So rather than use a fade out here, because it really just obviously cuts down, I'm just going to use a utility. So now that works, but of course I need to copy this over because the other one is not tuned. So here's the effects. Let's bring this all the way down. And then we're just going to go up like that. And same thing over here. Like that and like this. However, this, I don't want it to be minus infinity. So I'm just going to change the mapping on it. There's a million ways to do this. This might seem a little bit convoluted, but what I want to do is just figure out what that minimum value is. And I could totally do that like this too, but I can also do it by setting the minimum here on the macro. So let's try minus 20. And I'm just going to slowly lift up until I can barely hear that sound coming. So then I'm also going to go like this, because just to get that sound out of there. Cool. Let's copy this automation and stuff over to there. Cool. And that's a little transition, right? So we got A section, B section. Let's listen. Okay, cool. That's kind of working. I think that would work. But what I want to do is I want to take this here. So this guy, and do a little bit of a swoop into it here. Maybe I'll bring it down by like -6 or so. Let's see if that's even going to be audible. Okay, and then I also want to put this over here so it's always like time, it's like previewed, you know? Maybe I'll bring this back up to 0. Cool. Now let's get this vocal a little bit more prominent here in the second 8 bars. So let's see. A little bit of a vocal lift. And so what we can do is we can work down, right? So we have the A section, B section. And you can see the A section, B section just covers these 16 bars. But if I want to chunk down, we can start, this is kind of like chill. But then something has to happen here, right? So what's the lift going to be? It may be just more bucks. We could do a ride. We could do freaking anything. And then when we bring over here, this is the new chill. This is going to be the whistle. And then we have lift. And I have no idea. Maybe we'll do it structural and we'll just lift in the same way. So it could be a vocal. Maybe it could be a ride. Who knows? Maybe it could be a shaker. Okay, one thing I want to do is separate these guys. So bring these guys down here so I can control the volume differently. Another thing I can do is I can bring these into this and do the exact same thing that I did before. So let's go ahead and I'm going to get the MIDI from offbeat stabs here. Bring it over to here. But we got to move it on. Right. So That sounds pretty close. Like, I'm going to try to do the same thing I did before, which is, let's go to the pitch envelope. Let's try 3, bring the decay all the way down. So 6% sounds better to me. You know, this is like tuning a guitar. Like, you just, those little micro moves can make a difference. Same thing, I want to shorten it too. So let's come over to here and we'll hop over to one-shot mode. Just kind of bring it on down. A little bit longer than the other. Okay, let's get like a little bit of kickstart on there and just bounce it. Okay. Well, it's kind of stupid because it only plays on the downbeats anyway, but there we go. We could just cut out some of the lows, make it a little bit thinner up top, and that works. Absolutely ridiculous thing about doing what I just did is that I could totally have just used an EQ to do that instead of whatever that is, kickstart. But you know what? We're gonna leave it. So, because it don't matter. Turn this down a little bit. So now I need to clean things up a little bit. So let's chop this at the piano, although it doesn't matter again because there's no vocal there. So if I chop this right there, okay, same thing. So is there anything playing here? I just want to make sure it's not too big. Okay, I can make this a little bit louder now that it's not as busy. So I'm muting this underneath that stab, that offbeat stab. Okay, so does that actually sound like a lift though? Does that actually lift the energy? So let's see what happens. So I'm going to copy this over because that was like a weird kind of moment. Let's play from here. Okay, let's mute this one here. but I think that works. And I'm turning this up because I want it to feel more of like a lift. So let's duplicate this over here. And yes. And we'll duplicate this over as well. So let's see how this feels. Okay, let's see if we can mess with this rhythm, kind of like we did with the other one. Where does that 16th happen here? Okay, so what if on this one I also did a 16th note? So it'd be like 4 16th notes here going, but let's try it. So on the second one, I just go did it. So let's see what that sounds like. Okay, what if I tried moving it like this? So, and then these guys like that. I mean, it jumps out, which could be cool. Let's see how it sounds with the rest of the stuff. But I feel it starts to make it a little bit busy. I kind of like it here. And so I want to just bring down the ambience on the piano a little bit. And a gate is a really great way to do that because I can get the stabs of the piano, and then whatever the ambience is, I could just bring it down. Because the way a gate works is that it just brings down, whoops, not these stabs, I want to do it on the piano. The way a gate works is that when a sound goes below the threshold, it will turn that sound down. So it's, in a way, it's the opposite of a compressor, because a compressor, if a sound goes above a threshold, it will turn the sound down. But a gate, if the sound goes below the threshold, it turns the sound down. So you can make the quiet sounds even quieter. And so let's mess with that. So let me play it. We'll just fix it in context here, or in isolation. Okay. So if I bring the floor up now, you can hear all that. Right, but if I just want to bring that down, it looks like I'm creating. Oh no, that's actually part of the sample. I thought I was doing that, but cool. Yeah, so I can just bring this down a little bit, so it's not as ambient, and I can control how much I'm bringing that down by. So. Probably also compress it a little bit just to tighten it. You can also do transient designing, but so slow attack, medium release here, fast medium release. So you can see I need to have a faster release because it's hitting that second note. So if I take this away, you'll hear the piano is just way more prominent. It's taking up a lot more space. Now it's going to be a little bit tighter. And we can kind of mix it in the context of just the groove, just to see what it sounds like. So with the piano and the groove. Oh my gosh, it's the vocal perk that's causing the problem. Good Lord. Jeez. Oh my gosh, that's embarrassing. So let's take care of that. So I'm just going to, what I could probably do is just turn that down. Hold on. Before I turn it down, I think an EQ is going to be a more direct solution because there's different parts of this that are cool. So whoops, yeah, I was gutting the piano here. So let's mix just the piano and the groove. So it's a little bit thin, right? Okay, I could probably get away with hitting it. Okay, bring down the floor a little bit. So without the gate, watch. Too much. Okay, that sits nicely. Now if we bring in the piano, the vocal perk, I think I just need to turn that guy down. But I do like this little sound right here, so I'm just going to boost this up. This is the little vocal chop in there. Of course, it's sitting at 2K. Sweet. Okay, let's put a sidechain on the piano. Just get it to bounce a little bit more with the groove. Audio. Let's get some nice, what's it called? Ghost kick here. There we go. Yeah, that's chopping down on the ambience is what it's doing, and it's cleaning it up. A little bit of separation between the piano and the ambience, like. We got to loop around this, but that sounds pretty good. Feels like a bit of a lift, like. Cool. All right, let's duplicate this over like that. So. I think like some rides on top of this, like a gentle ride would be cool. Let's go back to Splice, which we haven't been in quite a while. Let's see if there's any rides in here. That's a cool little. There's like a little fill in this one. So let's copy. Then create a new audio channel here. There's also like, I really like that hat too, so I'm gonna chop two things out of this. So let's get. So we'll just grab this hat here, and we'll just have to EQ out the little bongo or whatever underneath, and let's go like this. Well, cool. And it's getting EQ8. Pop it on here. Cut out the little guy down there at the bottom. Good enough. And if I can just get a little bit more out of that, let's see. Does Artloop already have a bright hat though? Not really. Okay, let's get the little fill guy. Okay, cool. So let's put this over here. So what is that? So we'll just call this fill. We'll just duplicate this across here. Maybe I could just cut it here. That's cleaner. And so, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, let's see what else we got. I really like the clap in this. The clap in this is really cool. I could probably tuck it in as like maybe a clap lift. So put it in over here. And then just let's go with this. Go to envelopes, gain. So let's just draw this down. That. And there we go. So not really any clicks. Maybe I wouldn't hear them anyway because it's a clap, which is just a bunch of noise. So let's bring this way down. So coming from before. And then I could take that out and put it in over here. Structural lift. Structural just means that you can see that this structure and this structure have the same lift structure. Or this 16 bars and this 16 bars have the same lift structure because I'm just lifting the clap here, lifting the clap here. Here I have this other vocal coming in, you know, and so I'm just kind of doing similar things on that second 8, but then at the same time, this whole 16 elevates or lifts over the A section because we got that whistle coming in there, that little melody that people will never forget. So there's some syncopated hits in here that I really like. Yeah, so let's get this. Copy to clipboard. Okay, let's just start chopping. So much fun. Producers are always worried about loops, but they're not worried about having fun. You gotta have fun. Oh, that's a clap. That's an amazing clap. Jesus. Wow, I gotta steal that clap. Good Lord. Okay. Okay, let's Command J it. Okay, and then let's loop it. That's just going to be tucked in as a little bit of a layer. That is an amazing clap. So let's go. Let's turn this off. Just gives it a little bit of beef. Where's the beef? So let's get this syncopated hit. But now these claps are gonna bother me, so I'm gonna take them out. So clip gain, and I gotta wrap this up. Good Lord. I only had like an hour and a half to start with, but then things changed. Cool, there we go. So now I'm taking out the clap, so I just got the nice tops. It's got a nice texture in there. I love those. I just need to take out the low end, I think, because I like everything else about that loop. I love the syncopation. I know there's one area of it, so that's kind of annoying. Let's just cut it. That's probably pretty good. Let's see. Probably turn it down a little bit. So I like this. I'm just going to brute force move it over there and over here too. So I'll just call that generic tops. A little bit of percussion in there, but whatever. Don't need to be precise. So here's a really nice shaker. So that could substitute as my ride lift for now. Just nice and wide shaker. So let's bring this guy in. So we'll call this. Sometimes producers want to know how to make something wide, and best thing to do is just find something wide. So I'm just going to loop around this. There we go. Man, that's sick. Now that's got to go throughout the whole thing. That just gives so much groove. So there we go. I've gone off the rails, but we got to get into the break now. So let's get the big pieces. We've run through a very simple checklist of a break. A break is going to simply boil down into another A section, which is break and build. And so absolutely, let's get the groove pieces. There we go. And then we definitely need to get a high pass on the groove. We have one on the kick, but I'm going to drop one on the entire groove here. So there we go. And we will show automation in new lane. And I like showing all my automations. In case you don't know, you can right click and go to add lane for each automated envelope, which will show all your automations. Then we will turn this off here for now. Okay, we definitely need the whistle. Let's get everything. Oh, snap. That has not been playing the whole time. Okay, let's see if we can make that work. Okay, I gotta move past this. So let's get these guys and just high pass. Okay, let's mute this so it just stops. Okay, let's get rid of the ones that went not. Okay, let's take off this one. It's kind of the same. let's like take this piece and reverse it. See what that does. That's kind of cool. No, it definitely needs to be like this. We can get that every time. So, cool. So that stab is cool there in the B section, the B section lift. Maybe the stab here can serve as like an entry for the break. So if I get this guy here, we can also put him at an entry for the build as well. So let's put it there. Duplicate. And then maybe we can even have an entry for the drop. Let's see. Automated.
Okay. 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 Okay.
It's kind of cool, just really subtle. Just a little bit of a punch on the front. Nothing crazy. Cool. Same thing here. Just go like this. And put this here. Cool. Another thing I can do is just create like a stab delay channel. So we'll just go like this. For some of these, I'm not sure which ones, but go ahead and get a delay. Do like a ping pong on it. A little bit faster. Make this 100% wet. Bring that down. I'll just use a utility here. Because I'm going to bring it down quite a bit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the kick. I'm going to try to. Can I do that? Let me just see if I could do that with a, what's it called? Kickstart really quick. So if I go like this, and let's get like something like this guy. There we go. All right, nice. So let's go to audio, go to kick, ghost, this guy. And I'm going to go to this one just so it cuts out. And then I'm going to make sure the envelope stops up there. Oh shit, I need to bring over the ghost kick. So. Okay, so I want that to turn on when right when we get to the build. So I'm going to cut the kick on the build. So let's go show automation in new lane. And then when the kick right here comes in, go like this. Okay, one thing, let's get the payoff moment, the pipo moment. Pipo is P-I-P-O, so pattern interrupt, P-I. That's where you build, and then you interrupt that building pattern abruptly, and it just shocks people into paying attention. You have their full attention at that moment, and then you deliver the coolest part of the payoff, you know? So pipo, pattern interrupt, payoff. pattern interrupt, break the building pattern, interrupt the building pattern, deliver the payoff, explode into the drop. And so that's what we're going to do. And we have the okay vocal.
Okay.
So again, we're going to pay some homage to Shiba-san just because I heard that and I immediately thought of Okay by Shiba-san.
Okay.
And there it is. So
okay.
and we need to make sure we turn off kickstart right here.
Okay.
Cool. I'm just gonna go like that, so I'm gonna get a little clicky.
Okay.
We're getting clicks from the other audio tracks here, so I'm just gonna highlight all of them. This, just shoot Option Command F. There we go. I should get rid of the clicks.
Okay.
And there we go. So
okay.
ooh, we definitely need the offbeat vocals. We need the vocals. So let's get these guys in here. Cut them off at the payoff moment. Let's get the main vocals in. There we go. Okay. Okay, maybe here we can add a little bit of that kind of pre-vocal, so we get a call response. So like this, and like this. Carry this across. All right, cool. So we got the main things in there. How they're going to play out, who knows? But we definitely need to get some more things going on. So let's go back over to Splice. And we're going to go right over to... oh, let's check out some textures. All right. So let's see. Let's start at the break, because that makes more sense. That's kind of cool. A little bit of a weird kind of sound. A little percussion-y thing. I wonder if we like band pass that. So let's go get a auto filter and drop it on here. And I'll go like this. Go kind of around there. And then same thing, let's go get the LFO and just stray it. Just stray it around. So map this guy to the frequency. We'll go straight. Bring down the depth a little bit. Let's crank the resonance so we can hear exactly where it is. And I'm going to move the frequency around just to try to find that nice sweet spot. And let's apply this to a pan as well. So let's get utility. So let's go back and I'm going to map this back to the frequency here. And then let's get another one here. Map it. Oh, jeez. Map this to balance here. just want more dropouts to happen on the frequency. Dropout, what I mean by that is it'll just go to a section where the sound is not playing, so it just sounds more random. I think a delay would be kind of cool on this sound. Now the sound's so fast that the dotted eighth note delay here doesn't really matter. What I'm listening for here isn't so much the time, but like the chaos that's created. So sometimes this drops out, but a delay will fill in that spot in like another random spot because of the ping pong. So this is just creating more kind of chaos, and that's what I'm listening for. And then we'll definitely cut him at the right here. And then I'm just going to get a utility. Just mute this. I could just turn off the delay, but I'm just going to mute the sound right here so that the delay doesn't continue. And I can keep it going actually, because I probably won't use that anymore. So just stay muted. I'll call it block random. Cool. Okay, so going through the effects, let's see what other. Let's get some little crackle in there. That's always cool. There you go. Some crazy spikes in there. So let's avoid those spikes. There we go. We definitely need this sound. This is like an important build sound right here. Goes right there, and
Okay.
okay, so with this whistle, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on, so I'm just going to get another utility and mute it. So right click, show automation, and mute here.
Okay.
All right, so that gets muted. Something is, I think it's the effects right here. Okay, so yeah, let's just turn them off then, right there. There you go. Okay, and I'll just fade it like that.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Okay. All right. I kind of liking that.
Okay.
Kind of want to make this exciting right here. Like. You just gotta watch out for the bass. For example, I could mute this here. And then, do we have other stuff? Just cut that. Bring that down. And then we could probably fade this out significantly. And maybe I can do that. Let's see. Let's just copy this whole, delete this. And now I'm going to bring over the double kicks and that kind of affected bass. bring these double kicks over too. So now we have double kicks all throughout the drop on the 1 and the 4. That's something that I'm doing a lot lately, but I like it, so that's what I'm going to do. So let's get them maybe in the breaks. Just not as necessary, so I'm just going to get rid of them. Keep it chill. Now let's start looking for some effects. That could be kind of cool to play with a snare roll, just to have like this weird... Did I already get that? Just to kind of have this cool... I must have got that at some point in the... What the heck? Where is that thing? Okay. Bum, 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 bum. So let's see what that is. Let's go to spectrum, E. So this is the vocal right here. So we have F sharp up to G. I wonder if I just loop around this, for example. Like that is basically playing a G. Okay, and so again we're in C, so that could be kind of cool with the snare roll, like. Okay, let's listen.
Okay.
So you probably heard that too. That was sick. So I was just going through effects and came across this little glitchy things. So just having that as like an entry, I think is crazy.
Okay. Okay.
I wonder if this guy could also serve as a transition over here. Like maybe right here. Let's get a longer edit on this kick over here, like something like that. Cool. We can bring that over here and also bring that edit over. So we'll just copy the high pass like this and go over there. Effects can be a little bit more of a pain to look after just because you have to make sure you have the timing. All right, but okay. That riser will do. Just keep it gentle because it's a little bit more of a minimal style. So don't need to have effects blaring, but we can use them to support the message of the track. Communicate the energy levels of the track.
Okay.
All right, what else? Clap roll, that's fun. Let's get a clap roll. I don't always put clap rolls and snare rolls in the effects, but I am right now. Okay, so let's just cut this. All right, so let's see how the clap roll sounds.
Okay.
Cool. Let's also do this like at the very end.
Oh.
Let's see if we just like pop this guy down here.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay, what if we just cut all this stuff out right here? Just right when that clap fill just kind of pops in.
Okay. Okay.
Let's just cut everything out, dude. Okay. Let's go. Whistle. Say goodbye to the whistle.
Okay.
A riser can go back. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe the riser's actually helping through the little clap roll there. We'll see.
Okay.
Bring this back. Effects crackle we can leave in. The block thing can go away.
Okay.
Ah, that's the fill. Ooh, okay.
Okay. Okay. Okay. Okay. Okay.
Ooh. Okay, this can go back.
Okay. 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 Okay.
That's kind of cool. Like, you get all these crazy glitches right at the last moment. What about this sound right here? Can I do anything with that?
Okay.
It's kind of cool.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay, let's see what else we got over here on Mr. Splice. Who knows? I mean, it's kind of a different energy than what's going on, but we can have this kind of crisscrossing of energy of something's going up, something's going down, and everything's sounding cool. All right, so let's see. So this is 130. Cool. So what I can do is just take this first guy, just go like this. And then let's just gain it up. So let's go get gain, drop it on here, and we'll go like this. Show automation. Go up like this. And then of course we'll just chop it here.
Okay.
Let's mute this really quick and just dial in the sound, because it's kind of cool, like this buzzy top that we can kind of have coming up. So, god dang it. So just this. Stop it right there. And then what I want to do is get some delay, just make it a little bit wider. So we'll get some top.
Okay.
That's pretty cool. Let's go all the way up on the delay.
Okay.
And then, well, we already have a utility plugin, so let's just have this, turn this back on. So.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Cool. Kind of like the beginning part of this where it goes, starts to go down.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay, cool. So. Maybe we can get a low-level snare in there. That could be kind of cool. So let's get this over here. And this is 130, but let's see what this sounds like. Okay. So maybe we'll just stick to this. I think there's swing on there. Yeah, no thanks.
Okay.
Okay, let's do the same thing. Let's go get a gain. Go like, so we'll just gain the little snare up over time. I don't think we need to go down all the way to infinity, so I'm going to remap this to about -12. Should be pretty good.
Okay. Okay.
All right, let's zoom out and just listen to the break a little bit. Let's see how it sounds. And let's give ourselves a little bit of context here. So I'm going to bring this guy over like that. Let's bring one of these over here. So making bigger moves here, so let's see.
Okay.
So, couple things to do here is I'm going to start bringing down the top end of the drums. That's actually immediately works, so I'm going to automate this, and we'll just bring this down here. So
Okay.
Cool, that works. Also, we need to kind of like get some reverb effects or delay effects going on the main vocal. So let's go get some delay here. Okay, I'm going to chain this so that we can kind of work it up over time, but keep the dry signal dry or present. And delay 100%. Kind of delay do we want? I'm going to go like probably 8th note. Yep, that sounds good. High feedback. We're going to put a little bit maybe of chorus on there just to make it a little bit wide and weird. So let's go after. Maybe we'll go before. Maybe a little bit of reverb. Just smooth it out a little bit. A little bit shorter, maybe around 500 milliseconds on the decay. Sounds good. And then I'm going to go get a gain. And I'm going to drop it on here. Now, I like to automate kind of the gain here, as you've been seeing, because then the chain is still free for me to set the overall level. But I can come up from the bottom using the automation. And there we go. So let's come up like this. And we'll just chop it where it needs to get chopped. Just right there. So I'm going to go like that. Probably won't go all the way to the edge, so it doesn't really matter. But let's listen to how that sounds right here. Because again, just trying to create a little bit of chaos. Okay, so we need that to be a little bit louder. So I'm going to curve it up like this.
Okay.
Okay, we'll also kind of put a little bit of a high pass on that. Longer feedback on it? That's crazy. I'm not sure why it's not.
Okay.
Okay, let's get this even wider, 100%, 200%. I'm also going to put a EQ here, mid-side, just to kind of cut out the mid-channel down the middle, like 2000, where the other vocal is. So...
Okay. Okay.
Cool, now I can turn the chain volume down a little bit.
Okay.
Oh, we got to bring in that sound. Hell yeah. How was that not in there? Cool. Let's get a low pass on this guy. So there we go. And have them open all the way up. Got to mute this guy right here. And there we go. Start them low. Let's see how low should we go. That's probably good, pretty good. You barely heard it. So try 500. We could probably curve this a little bit. And have it open fully on the last one. Can that trigger anything? Let's see.
Okay.
And then we'll bring this all the way down just to be safe.
Okay. Okay.
All right, couple more things, and then it should be golden. So, is there any downshifters? We can just like reverse riser this over here. Where's this guy? Cool. And just like, think it may be this. Put it right here, flip it. Maybe the top. Okay, let's do that. Let's get a delay and let's get an EQ. So ping pong, try quarter notes. Again, I'm just listening to that in my head. $10,000.
Okay.
So that's pretty good. Just putting a little delay on here. A little bit of an entry into the build, and then I just want to make 100% sure that the delay does not carry into here. We'll just go ahead and mute. And there we go. So, okay, let's go ahead and just kind of listen back a little bit. Maybe we can... Maybe we can gain the whistle up too, just so it doesn't immediately steal everyone's attention, and then people are like, what the hell is that? So same thing, I'm just going to gain this up. We'll probably gain it up to here, which is, what's going on? So we'll go down here, bring this up, have it cut through there, bring this up over time. Let's see. So starting around -15, let's try that. Okay, so one thing we got to do is get this fill over here. This right there. this piano right here is pretty cool. I wonder if we could take this little tail and then just like reverse. And then turn this way up. You have to watch out for this guy right here. Let's see, maybe we'll try this. Okay, it looks like it took it away. So this little kind of reverse piano is just there to introduce the piano, you know, like, and so we'll give it a little bit. Cool, and I think we got to tease in the piano a little bit more. Let's drop a reverb on here. Let's go get low pass filter, and cool. I'm gonna not randomly, but I'm gonna put the low pass before the reverb here, and just saving all the cleaner racks here, and as I work on this computer. But so over here, we'll go ahead and show automation in new lane, and this will come up. I don't know, let's just have it come up over time like this. Looks like we got to maybe take care of this bit. Can I get rid of that?
Oh.
No, I think leave it. Okay, cool. And then all right, let's try that. Just giving it a little bit of space on it as it comes in. Then we'll just move it dry. So we'll just go like this and then like this. So. Okay, let's turn this guy down a little bit.
Okay.
We can start carrying some of these effects over to the drops, like get a little bit of riser action going into the next section. This. You take this entry over here. Get a little bit of room on this, so reverb. Let's give it a little bit like 500, a little bit more space. wonder what this would sound like all the way through here. So just like this. And then I'll just go like this. And cool. So what about right around? Just taking different things like the snare roll, dropping it in there, the edit. Thinking about high passing out the whistle as we approach the end of the break, just to kind of like take it out of you a little bit. So let's go like this and kind of just.
Okay. Okay.
These are just sine waves, so I'm kind of being silly with the high passing, but whatever. It's what my mind first thought of, so that's what I did. Now, it would help if I brought the actual parts over that I'm using in the track. So let's move this over here. And then let's just get rid of this. Cool. Going to curve in the gain a little bit of the so I'm going to work this in a little bit more.
Okay.
So, yeah, listening through this, I feel like I can come into the piano a little bit softer. Okay, do a little bit of gain automation on this. It's just all just tweaking, you know? It's all fun stuff. Just whatever you're hearing, just tweak it till the flow's right. It's all about
Okay.
I think this little guy needs to come over here too. The little thing. Do I have a fill? Cool. And right here in the beginning.
Okay.
What if we brought down the piano a little bit here? Just to kind of settle the energy a little bit. So. And then what if we actually brought up the reverb on this too? So I'm going to take the outro here, and I'm going to copy it over to here. Because it feels good when you just go into the groove and the track's done. Yeah. Just going to automate the reverb down on this guy. Okay, let's get rid of this high pass. Let's get rid of all the clicks. And let's also bring down the decay time on this guy quite a bit. Probably started around here. All right. So let's check this out.
Okay.
All right, a new dawn, a new day. Time to start mixing this guy. I did take a couple notes because I just listened to it in the car. I was going to get food yesterday. These are some ideas that I had just to really put a pin in this thing. And there we go. So add a ride. And then, of course, what we'll do is mix. So add a ride to the beat section. I wasn't able to find a ride symbol in the pack. Maybe I just didn't look hard enough. So I'm going to break the one pack rule here. And I'm just going to add one with the 909 core kit. So hopefully it's not too much cheating. But so let's add this guy in. And I want to just do it in the B section here. So I'm going to go like this. Ride. Let's see which one here. Yeah. So we're just going to go like this. What's that? 16. Oh, whoops. There we go. Loop that. Cool, there we go. And then let's go get some kickstart. Make that thing bounce a little bit. That's good. And then let's go on the ride and tune it around just a little bit. Get it to sit, you know, quote unquote tune, but just get it to sit in the mix a little bit better. All right, a little bit lower, sounds a little bit better. All right, and let's just turn that way down. So way down. Like a super, super gentle ride. Just to get a little bit of luft, as they say in chess. Okay, so we got that done. Let's go over to our long checklist here and check that off. Try putting let's go or okay at the A-B edit. So the A-B edit is where you switch from the A section to the B section. And if you think about it, it's a pretty dramatic moment in the track. Obviously, the most dramatic moments are when you go from like a break into a drop. But when you switch from that A to the B, when you're switching from one main hook to another main hook, it's a big moment. And so I was just thinking, what if I took this payoff here and just dropped it right there just to really make things exciting. Let's just see what it sounds like.
Okay.
Either that one, or if I switch over to the next one. So if I go to this guy right here, let's see what that sounds like.
Let's go.
Man, that's tough. I mean, I don't like this one at all, but just even the idea, I'm not 100% convinced on. Let's see.
Okay.
Let's give ourselves a little bit more context here. Let's go.
Okay.
So I'm undecided about that. Like, I just don't know if it's necessary. So I think I do like it, and the reason why I like it is kind of like more of a production thing than absolutely being in love with it. But it just, for me, resets this moment a little bit better. It almost triggers this moment a little bit better. Okay, it's almost like, okay, let's go, and then we're okay to switch. So maybe like a psychological thing, but I also like how it kind of triggers the whistle break. I wonder if I even need this kind of reverse now. Let's just see.
Okay.
Okay, the more I listen to it, the more I like it. The only thing is that I haven't been setting that moment up, so I'd have to kind of do some things to set that up a little bit better, but
Okay.
so I'm just going to do a couple things here. Let's just make sure things are cut.
Okay.
So we got the riser, snare roll. Maybe we can cut the snare roll here.
Okay. Okay.
Maybe we can cut that guy. Just really make that moment pop for a moment. Synth motif is just MIDI. We can get rid of that. Percussion, Fox percussion, piano. Why not?
Okay.
Curious if we get the reverse piano here, if that would be cool.
Okay.
Nah, that makes it too smooth. I want it to be a little bit less smooth. Okay. All right, cool. All right, decision made. Cut bright hat in the break. So in the break, we have this bright hat right here. Let's just cut this.
Okay.
But there's still a hat coming from somewhere, is it? Oh, okay, so it's this guy.
Okay.
So what we can almost start doing is like
Okay.
Okay, we can start mixing now, because what we got to do is I'm going to do like a load bus, and I'm only going to do a, sorry, not load bus, but a groove bus. But I'm only going to do kind of like a functional mix, meaning that just making sure this thing would work in the club. There's a lot of things I would love to do here, but that would take, you know, several hours, because that's just the nature of getting things right. What's that one phrase or saying that, sorry I didn't have time to write a short letter. Yeah, sorry I sent a long letter, I didn't have time to write a short one. All right, cutting details take time.